All right. Hello, everybody. Sorry we're a few minutes late. How's everybody doing?
Great. Hi, how are you?
Excited?
Oh, good.
All right. Cool. Well, let's get started. We have a great show for you today. Let me arrange my screen a little bit so I can see these names. So first off, just wanted to welcome some new folks to Bergen County Partners. We have Caitlin, Tati, Kim, Jocelyn, Nancy, Amaryllis, Anna, Irina, John, and John. Do we have a slide in here about John later? Elizabeth, John's our new PC coach in the Tenafly Market Center. So welcome, John. Mi Singh, Yun Mi Ju, Ki Singh, Ki Zeng, LaShawn, Anthony, and Savannah. It's a lot of folks, so we're growing like crazy here at BCP, which is awesome. Are any of you on and want to unmute yourself and say hello? Putting you on the spot. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Hi there.
Hey, welcome to KW.
Welcome to KW. Is John on? You can tell we don't rehearse this. I'm just asking questions live as we do it. All right, John Genovese, he's too busy out there coaching folks. So let's keep moving. So we have a great guest today, but before that, let's go through a quick updates from each of our market centers. One thing I did want to ask you, we have Laura Gill on today. I have some questions for her, and I'm sure you have some as well, and we only have an hour. So if you want your question to be answered, maybe start throwing them in the chat now in advance, because we're probably going to pick, from the most relevant questions, so we can get out of here on time. So we have a great event scheduled with Carly, and that is this coming week on the 23rd.
Tuesday.
Anybody have anything they want to share about that, or should I keep moving?
I've done 2 deals with her, and she's wonderful.
Good enough for the smiling realtor, Ira, then it's good enough for me. That's a big endorsement there. And that that's open to, the questions we always get, is it open to everybody? I assume it's open to all market centers, and is it on Zoom?
No, of course.
Is it on Zoom? Yes? Did you say of course?
No, I said, of course, they're welcome to come.
And of course it's on Zoom.
It's going to be present. I'm not sure if it's going to be on Zoom. That we usually don't know until the agent is here and if they want it that way.
We don't know.
It's up to the
It
presenter.
may be on Zoom, it may not. So
Here, so I can't
show up.
ask.
All right. Also at Village Square this week, we have a great class with Billy going over neighborhood mailings and something about laundry detergent. Is this supposed to be here? What I'm really talking about? Oh, it's to help the food pantry. Okay, that makes sense. I thought I was somebody's laundry list there for a second. So we'll send this out later and you guys could decipher what that's about, but it sounds like it is a charity event and Robin Morse is hosting it. Her contact info is there. If you don't get it from here, maybe Elizabeth, can you throw Robin's info in the chat if anybody wants to reach out about this drive? All right, let's move on to Valley, where we have a new member, our newest realtor to join the team, Luciana. Congratulations to Jillian. Is Jillian on? Or I'm imagine she has more important things to be doing right now. After having a baby, the next most important thing is to be on this call. But congratulations, Jillian. We also have a CE class coming up with Christine Kehoe. That's going to be on Wednesday in the Woodcliff Lake office. Do folks need to RSVP for that, or do they just show up? Anybody?
Just show up.
Colleen says no. It's not your market center. You're answering for Donna, but you can't help it. You answer.
You need to register because I think we have 47 already signed up. So I'll have to get an update from Maxine. But yes, it would be nice to register.
All right. And then we have Jason Trembecki, or one of our commercial gurus, with a class on the 25th at noon, on Zoom or not on Zoom. But we don't know. Another one where you just, maybe it is, maybe it's not.
We don't know.
So either come to Zoom or come in person. Well, it's a surprise for everybody. That's the fun part about these classes. All right, now let's move on to Town Life, where the Stacy Esser Group is doing some big deals, and They're cooperating office exclusive, so let's sell those homes. A $4 million 7-bedroom home in Demorest, and also a $2.2 million home listed in Tenafly. Are either Stacy or Julia on that want to talk about their new listings?
Hi, Al, I'm on.
Hey, Julia, how are you?
Hi. The home in Demarest is to be built. That design is being done now, and as soon as I have that, I'll provide that information. So right now, that's what the home is gonna be, 7 bedrooms, 7.5 baths in Demarest. And I'll know more once the design is done.
All right, cool. Does
Okay.
anybody have any questions for Julia?
You have a
About the
buyer.
home or about how you get $4 million listings? And Julia, maybe throw your contact info in the chat in case anybody wants to reach
Okay.
out with questions.
Will do.
I know Colleen said she's looking for kind of a country home, and that's in her price range. I don't know if Demarest is quite the country, but he may be reaching out to you.
Kind of the country.
And then we wanted to thank Sarah for a great class on how to gram. I know that's been one of our most popular classes. If you haven't had it in your market center, please ask your team leader to bring it to you, and hopefully Sarah will accommodate. All right, moving on to, well, we're
Actually,
staying.
Al?
Yes.
Okay, so as Donna's been saying and everybody's been saying, we really need people to RSVP for any class in any of the market center because it helps in planning. And
Okay.
so, just because I have the horn and there's enough people online, I think please, if you see a class that you're interested in, wherever market center, just RSVP because this way, if everybody knows what's going on. I know it's been, trying to get that for Tenafly, and people just show up and then we don't know. And sometimes we're providing lunch and we don't know how many people and we run out. So we don't want to, if you're coming, just it's a quick RSVP, say, hey, I'm coming. So we know.
Got it. So is the issue people are showing up that didn't RSVP?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're just asking,
So
it's a
please
kind.
RSVP, but if you didn't, don't let that at the last minute, you can still come. I'd always rather have too many people and not enough lunches than have people miss classes, but please do
Yes.
RSVP. You can
That's
have
my point.
if you don't RSVP. All
Thank
right,
you.
thanks for that, Karen. All right, and we also have Brandon doing a class on the new agent sites. I don't even know if you're all familiar that there are new agent sites. Is anyone on who wants to give a quick update on the new agent sites? Elizabeth is saying no, but how do you know? Maybe there is somebody, or you're shaking your head at something else. Nobody cares about all right. I think they're cool. All right. And then Judith is teaching a class on your buyer value proposition on the 24th at 12 p.m. Please RSVP for Judith. And this is pretty cool. Kathy Katabi just listed a massive commercial listing in Newark. Actually was just texting with Kathy. I think it's actually even more than 44 units. So this is a huge win for Kathy, a huge win for City Views, and a huge win for BCP in general. So if anybody has any questions, please reach out to Kathy directly. Congratulations, Kathy.
Thank you.
Huge.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Making us look good. All right. And let's see, City Views also wanted to highlight that they are 14% above the MLS in terms of listings taken, 51% in listings taken volume. They are writing 26% more contracts than the MLS. And the volume is 54% more than the average agent on the MLS. So if you want to list and sell a lot of homes, talk to the folks in City Views. All right, moving on to Park Views, Rutherford. We have a lead generation class with the always dapper Esteban and Kevin on Monday at 9:30. We are also having a broker mastermind with Joyce on Wednesday at noon. And someone is teaching CPR training. And I'll give you a second to scan that to sign up. And that is with Kevin and Jess. Oh, no, they already signed up. They're not teaching it. Who's teaching the CPR class?
We have one of Justin from Carnegie Title.
Justin Timberlake? Who?
No, not Justin Timberlake. We're not there yet. We have Justin from Carnegie Title. He had a connection with the fire department, so his friend Dave is going to be teaching the class. He's done it in the past in the market center. As described to me, he makes CPR fun, very exciting. So really excited to get into that class. It's going to be my first time doing CPR training. So Dave Nauta.
Nice. That's our motto. Make CPR fun again. I like it. All right. So we got through that pretty quickly. Wanted to save the bulk of our time for Laura Gill from the Gill Group. Most of you know Laura. She's been run the #1 team at our #1 market center for 7 years in a row. She's top 1% of agents nationwide. Helped over 160 clients last year and did over 126 million in sales last year. So welcome, Laura. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining us today. So I guess just, let's jump right into it. If we can kick it off with just tell us, anything you want to share about yourself and, maybe how long you've been in real estate, how you got into real estate.
Sure. I mean, I've had my license for 20 years now. I think a lot of people have heard my story. I kind of got my license so that I could, do my own deals. I was flipping real estate at the time, and I started actually working with the public 12 years ago. So at that point, I was newly divorced, single mother with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I figured I needed a real job. So it was time to get going.
Wow. I thought I knew your story, but I thought you had been doing it a lot longer than that. That's pretty amazing to build a $126 million team in that short amount of time.
So
Crazy. So what did you do? What did you do your first year in sales versus, where are you now?
Let's see. My first year in sales, I don't remember the exact numbers, but I do know I would have made bronze, but I didn't know about Circle of Excellence to apply for it. I quickly ramped up. I think it was my 3rd or 4th year that I was doing platinum, and then I started the team, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 years ago. No, had to be about 8 years ago, started the team from there. Yes, we did 126 million this year. It's not actually our best year, but challenging year for 2023.
Wow. There's not many people that can say they did 126 million and it wasn't even their best year. That's crazy. So one of the things I wanted to ask you just selfishly is, because you're running a team and we're in essence just running a team as well, running BCP. And, you've built such a great team. And what I think I find unique about your team is the longevity. It seems like Tisha, who is a great agent in her own right, has been with you for years. A lot of your folks stay. And in some other teams at other companies and even some of our own teams, we struggle with turnover. So what's the secret to keeping the folks, on your team for such a long period of time and, making sure they're happy? I always see you guys going on, these really cool trips. You're always in some fun place or some fun outing. I'm sure that has something to do with it, but I bet it goes, way beyond that. So, how do you do it?
Well, yes, we just got back from our whole team and spouses in Mexico. So that was a good time. We do spend a lot of time together, sort of building as sort of a thank you to our team. But I think it's really, I hire specifically for culture. I really need to like the people that I work with, and I don't want to go to the office and have any drama or stress or anything like that. So I hire people I like. I hire people that I think are a really good fit, have the right motivations. And if you hire well and then treat those people well, and people know when they deal with me, it's going to be fair. I don't necessarily always tell people what they want to hear, but I'm fair, and I treat people with respect. Our whole team really gets along, and they all respect each other, and we all want each other to be, successful. This is a business. It's not just fun. It's not, ladies' night out kind of thing or whatever. So we all want each other to be making money, and we support each other to make sure that everyone is.
So when I hear you saying that, I'm thinking everybody wants what you just, great culture and everybody to get along and all that, I get the end result, but how do you achieve that? Like everything you're saying is, we all, get along and respect each other and, but everybody wants that, but yet you're doing it and a lot of people aren't able to do it. Are there any specific like tools or models or philosophy that helps your team stay so cohesive?
Well, I think
together?
it's sort of ingrained from the beginning. We all, everyone sort of models off each other. They see that we're all supporting each other. And, if you ask someone to cover one of your showings, I'm not feeling great. Can someone cover my showing today at 5? You'll have in our group text, I can. We do really sort of model that behavior on an ongoing basis. But I think, we have a lot of training, a lot of support. So people feel like they have the tools they need to succeed, et cetera.
That makes sense. Anything different you do in the vetting of agents? Like as you're looking at agents to join your team, do you use, specific assessments, or is there certain criteria that people could copy or use?
I often do the KPA.
Okay.
Although I just hired someone yesterday and I didn't, but I often do the KPA. I do like to get a sense of what someone's skill set is. Oh, that's the other thing. I mean, I really hire people for the right jobs, right? And that's a big difference. People are happy if they're doing what they want to do. If I had my transaction manager responsible for interfacing with, clients in a, social way, that's not what she would want to do. And salespeople don't want to write contracts. I have my salespeople all they have to do is sales. They don't write contracts. They don't, follow up on
That's
paperwork.
key.
They don't do compliance. That's it. I want them doing what they're good at. And I also try and stay out of the way, although my marketing manager might disagree because I'm, always giving her 1,000 ideas of what she needs to be doing. But, she does a great job. But, I try and stay out of the way of the things that I'm not good at. And I hire for the, people that like doing the things that I don't like doing.
That makes sense. I mean, one of the things you hit on, I think, if you're able to take everything off the plate of your team members other than actually selling and interfacing with clients. I mean, there's no, great agent that got into this and said, I want to do lots of paperwork and lots of busy work. So if you're able to take that off their plate, I'm sure that's huge. So are you looking to expand the team at this point? Is it
Yeah, I mean, we're
somebody on
always
this call
looking.
that wants to be a team? Should they reach out to you, or are the books closed for this year?
I would say that we're always looking for talent, for the right, talent, where we would always consider. I don't have necessarily something that I.
Okay. All right. Well, if you're interested, reach out to Laura. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, like when I talk to agents all the time in KW outside, and I always ask them what's their biggest challenge. And they always bring up this low inventory environment. You had a blockbuster year in this low inventory environment. Are you having that level of success just by running the same playbook you always have that's always worked, or did you have to tweak anything this year because of this specific environment that we're in now?
Oh, no, I mean, we're hustling more. It's absolutely taking more work to get the same results. And that's for both the list side and the buy side. Of course, everyone's frustrated with the number of contracts you have to write to get an offer. And we all have those buyers that don't listen, et cetera. So no, we're hustling more. We're trying to, leverage every one of our listings and make sure that we're squeezing the juice out of them, to get more publicity around them so that hopefully we get more. We're expanding geographically a little bit.
Okay.
So, maybe taking some listings in areas we wouldn't normally.
So if I'm hearing you right, like if you read the shift, Gary Keller, one of the biggest things in there is just, if you need to get X number of appointments a week and it used to take you 50 calls to get those 10 appointments, now it might take you 100. You just got to do kind of more of the same. So it sounds like, everyone's always looking for that silver bullet, including me. But it seems like what you're saying is you didn't really change the game plan that much. You just had to double down and work a little bit harder to get similar results this year. Is that fair?
Yep. Yep. There's no magic in this business.
Interesting. Even though we're all always still looking for it.
Mhm.
So I know you do a lot of your business based on referrals from past clients and friends and family and your agents' contacts. But aside from referrals, what's your next biggest lead source? How are you generating leads?
Open houses. So open houses are our number one lead source. We are a listing heavy team, so we run open houses pretty much every weekend. And of course, it's a great opportunity to get in front of people, face to face. So our team is great at converting through open houses. So that's a lot of our buy side comes from that. But of course, we get referrals from past clients, like you said. I have been working on sort of developing more relationships with referral agents in different
Mhm.
areas. So that's something that we're trying to pick up our game on. And then, of course, mailers. We've been mailing for years and years. Those are the main ways, and direct calls in on our listings, of course. I
Sure.
mean, you have the
So,
listings, people are calling.
so you mentioned open houses. Is there anything you guys do? Not necessarily different. I guess maybe a better way to phrase the question is if I'm on this Zoom right now and I'm thinking, wow, you're doing this amazing business and you're attributing a lot to it, to the kind of the most basic thing out there, open houses.
Mhm.
What advice do you have for agents to make those open houses even more productive? Like, why are you getting so much out of this same tool that everybody's using, yet they're not building these huge teams, with this huge amount of business? What do you guys do differently, if anything?
Well, first, I have fantastic buyers agents that have the right personalities to build that rapport at open houses. So that's step one. But what we do, I guess, do we do anything different? We have QR codes for our sign in. So we have people that are scanning in at our open houses. It gets automatically put in our database so it doesn't get dropped. Our admin, who is also she's our tech whiz, has figured all that out so that now, someone signs in, boom, it's already assigned to the person that's walking them through at the open house. They don't have to enter it in their database later on a Sunday night. And all the notes end up in there, et cetera. So that helps take away some of the, standing there writing notes and all of that, because we want people really focused on building rapport with the buyers.
Got it. That makes sense. So, I kind of glossed over referrals and said, aside from referrals, but what about, the business? I know you generate a lot of business through your sphere of influence. Is there anything you do that you would want to share with your sphere of influence? Like, are you doing client appreciation parties? Are you doing some kind of specific outreach that helps generate more business from repeat customers and friends and family?
We have a number of events every year that our marketing and events person has organized for us, which is awesome. We do have a client appreciation party coming up, and we're actually going to sort of test that out. We used to do one at my house, but it ended up kept having to be postponed because the weather's gotten a lot more unpredictable. So we're doing one inside. We'll see how that goes. That's our first one. But yes, we do, we try and keep in touch with people and get FaceTime with people, doing like 6 to 8 events throughout the year. And we invite our clients to those events. As far as doing direct referrals, I think, and this is kind of the way that I started my business, is getting involved in organizations or clubs or whatever that you genuinely enjoy. Like I started a gourmet club, not to get business. I just started it because I like cooking and that's what I wanted to do. But over the years, I've sold just about every one of those women's houses.
Wow.
So that are in this group. And it's not a big group. There's 10 to 12 people in the group. But that kind of leads to more referrals, more referrals, more referrals. Anything where you get to see, a group of people maybe once a month and build like deeper relationships. Not about real estate, just about just being
Yeah.
friendly, gives you a good opportunity to be considered for their listing.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. I love the theme of this so far. We didn't really pick a theme, but I feel like, for everyone who's thinking, I have to spend an inordinate amount of time, on social media, AI, all the newest thing, I have to have a podcast. And that stuff all absolutely has a place and it generates business. But, it sounds like your message, at least, different things work for different people. But, one of the most successful teams in the country is basically seems like it's mostly about the basic stuff, the doing business by referral, doing open houses, hiring people that you enjoy working with, focusing on team culture, I don't hear a lot of super whiz bang stuff, but yet you're getting the whiz bang results. And I think people overlook that because we kind of want to do the new cooler thing that just got invented last week. And we overlook things like open houses. So, I love it.
Yeah, I don't have anything sexy or high tech to talk about. We truly do the basics, but I think that's really something that everyone needs to do is figure out whether it's open houses or whether it's your marketing or whatever it is that you're really good at and just stick to it.
I think everyone would say 126 million is pretty sexy. So I wouldn't say you guys are not sexy for sure. So what about, we've had a couple Zooms specifically about buyer compensation and those changes in the market. Has that changed anything that you guys are doing? Do you operate any differently? Or are you using this is kind of a loaded question because you and I were just talking about, we have a ongoing issue with a buyer agency agreement, but are you guys using them? Do you have any advice for people that are dealing with buyer agency agreements? And are you, has this changed the way you guys operate in any way?
Well, I mean, like a lot of agents, when this all came down, we were really quite concerned. And we started training on buyer consultations, buyers agency agreements, how to get them signed, and we had never done that before. I mean, we had done buyer consultations, but not really. We've sort of upped our game on that and did more training on what these forms look like and how to get them signed and how to explain them. And we have had some success with it, but as sort of time goes on and we're not seeing all of a sudden, any drastic change. I mean, maybe it's still early, but we're not seeing anything, crazy come out yet. We may have put a little too much emphasis on this. I think now how I'm thinking about it is that it's really the listing agents need to be strong enough to explain to sellers why they need to be paying buyer's agency commission. Nobody works for free. And I think it's really like the pressures on the list agents to hold tight and, make sure that people in the industry are compensated. So
The sellers
I don't know,
agents need to be stronger. You're saying, I know we have all very strong listing agents, but there are some people from other companies on here that might be weaker listing agents. Like what's your advice? Like how does that conversation go? Like how can you like model that? Like what would you recommend saying to a seller?
No, I think it's just, what I would say to a seller is, look, I mean, no, you don't have to pay a buy-side commission, but this is, really one of the best marketing tools you have. You have all of these agents running around with, X number of qualified buyers, and they can show your house or they can show this house over here that's offering them compensation. So which house do you think they're going to push? I think that's like kind of a common sense
The
conversation.
message is you don't have to pay buyers agents, but you also don't have to sell your house then either, probably.
Well, that's the thing. I think that this has been the case. Someone was telling me, I can't remember who, that this was the case in Seattle for quite a long time, where it was common to, or just certainly not expected. You had the possibility in the MLS to put 0 as buyer side commission. And there were very few sellers who actually did it. And the ones that did sat on the market.
I remember someone telling you that. That was a really smart guy told you that from what I remember.
Okay. So I think, yes, we're still trying to get buyer's agency agreements signed because it's good practice. But I'm not as concerned as I was.
Not as focused on it. Okay.
No.
That's good. I think that's also a great message because I think there's a little bit of, I don't know what the right word is, almost bordering on hysteria when that first came out and everybody kind of, not everyone, a lot of people stopped doing what they were doing and were focused on that and not focused on just going out and selling real estate. And, you know, things have changed around the margins a little bit, but you know, it's not this huge watershed moment that people were worried about. So really, again, it's get back to basics, you know, stop fretting about what may happen in the future and just have open houses, contact your database and get back to selling real estate. So I say this on all the Zooms, like when I attend a Zoom or training, I always want to come away with like something, you know, tangible that I can say, you know, I was on a great call with Laura Gill today and, you know, I'm going to run out and do this one thing that's going to help my business. And maybe it's the same for all agents, just get back to basics and focus on that. But, you know, there's, you know, if we look at maybe 3 different levels of agent, if I'm a new agent, what would be your piece of advice is something you would recommend they go out and do today that would most help their business?
Well, I think I kind of touched on that. I mean, as far as new agents, you need to be working your sphere. That's what it's about. People are going to only do business with you because they know you and trust you as a friend or acquaintance or colleague or what have you. So, you know, like my example of that gourmet club that I started, that's how I did a lot of my business, you know.
Yeah, we had
beginning.
somebody on, or I don't know, maybe it might have been even been a family reunion, which was basically just sell real estate while you're doing what you already like to do, which is exactly what you're saying. Like somebody was like a boat person and they basically spent the whole summer, you know, at their yacht. It wasn't a yacht club, whatever it was, but that's how they sold most of their real estate. Somebody likes to go to car races and they had an affinity group with all their, you know, buddies that went to watch NASCAR or whatever it's called. I don't know, you know, whatever
That's
it is
exactly
that
what
you
it
like
is,
to
an affinity
do, you
group.
know, do
Yeah.
that stuff and weave in real estate. You know, it'll be more genuine and you'll enjoy it more. So that's great advice.
Mhm.
So as you move up, somebody who, you know, hasn't broken the capper stage yet, is there any different advice or is it basically the same advice you would give to a new agent?
Well, I think you know, once you've got that down and you're speaking to the right people, I mean, you always want to look professional when you're out, you know, representing for real estate. I do see people, you know, wearing what I consider, you know, really casual clothes selling real estate. And, you know, if you want to, my feeling on it, having come from the corporate world, is if you want to be treated like professional, you need to present yourself as one. So there's that. You know,
I have my sports
what I
coat in the
say.
room. I'm just dressed like this because I'm on a Zoom. If I was going out, I would be professional. I want everyone to know.
You know, I think it's again finding what you're good at, whether it is open houses or, you know, you're really great at cold calling, whatever it is you're good at, and just do that over and over and over. It's not exciting perhaps, but
No.
if you do anything consistently, you'll get the results. I do the same thing every month, every single
Yeah.
month. So
Awesome. More of just consistency. So then my
Right.
last question on this sort of topic is, and it's a pretty niche question because there's not too many people in this space, but if I'm a, you know, already a super successful agent, I'm a 10 or 20 or even $30 million agent, like how do you, you know, you can kind of count on one hand in this whole area, anyone that's done over $100 million. It's, you know, it's very rarefied air. If somebody wants to get into that space, how do you do that? Like what's your advice?
you need to hire very well. Again, so hire people that complement you and your strengths and weaknesses, that, you know, hire people that are specialists at what they do, and get your systems in line so that you honestly don't have to think about it too much and you do the same thing over and over and over again. If I'm going on a listing appointment, I don't think about it. You know, my packet's there, I run out the door, I grab it, I know exactly what I'm doing. You know, I say the same questions every time, the same, you know, it's routine. So
That makes sense.
maybe boring, but over and
No,
over.
this is awesome. This is
Consistency,
the
you
whole
figure out
theme.
what works and do it over and over and over and over.
I mean, all your advice is awesome because it's simple. It's hard to do, to implement it, but it's not hard to understand. Like if you take these basics and you just repeat them day after day, there's Gary Keller talks about it. So many top people talk about it. You kind of, you have to be willing for the job not to always be sexy. You have to be willing to be a little bit bored. If you become a master at something and you're getting good results and you're doing it day after day after day, it's not going to be novel. You can't be looking for that new shiny object. You have to just get great at a few things and be able to reproduce them over time and scale them. And it sounds like that's what you're doing. I think too many people are, one week they're the Instagram guy and the next week they're the client appreciation guy, and a month later they're the Zillow gal, and they're flailing from thing
Yeah.
to thing, instead of just, pick 2 or 3 things and become awesome at it. And that's all you need to do. There's Bruce Lee says something like, the quote is like, I don't fear the man who's practiced 10,000 different kicks once. I fear the man who's practiced one kick, 1,000 times. Get good at a few things. You don't have to be a jack of all trades. And it sounds like you guys have picked a few specific things and you just got great at it, and you just, you run that same play over and over and it works.
Pretty much. I don't like to spend time recreating the wheel,
It's awesome. So I typed out some questions for you and I still have about 30 of them left, but I'm thinking, the folks on the call or on the Zoom may have better questions and don't want to just, hear what I want to hear. Elizabeth, do you see any? It looks like we have too many to ever get to, but are there any on there that you can, pick out that you think, would have the most appeal to the most people on this Zoom?
Yeah, of course. Fernanda asked, do you pay for any lead generation at all with
Zero.
Okay.
It's so expensive, and the return, I don't find that there's return on investment for that. No, and we have enough leads coming in from our listings.
Brandon, do you want to unmute yourself? You had some questions coming from a new agent perspective.
Yeah, I typed a message before. I'm a brand new agent. I'm also in college and working. I just came from work, actually. I worked half a day. I was just wondering, how can a new agent become successful at open houses? And are there more effective ways than doing open houses when starting?
I mean, I love open houses because you're getting the face-to-face contact. So, I mean, how to get more successful at them? I mean, you probably don't have listings yet, so you need to see if there are other agents that need help with their open houses. There usually are. And follow them around, go and observe a few before you work one, and then go, work one and learn the right questions to ask. Make sure you've researched the whole neighborhood, researched, any of the houses that are selling in the area or just sold in the area, so that you have real information to talk to them about. That would be my advice.
Thank you.
How often are you sending things to your database, and what CRM are you using?
We use Follow Up Boss for our CRM. It's good for teams. It's expensive, but it's good. As far as how often are we sending things to our database, it really depends. We have things sort of tagged within our database for certain towns. So if we have a listing in Allendale, and then it will go out to people interested in Allendale. So the Ridgewood people might not get that one, but we do have a monthly newsletter that goes out, and so at least once a month, everybody's hearing from us.
Right.
I have a question actually for you. Do you participate in our core businesses, the title, home and auto, the mortgage? This is a question a smarter person would have known the answer to this, because I'm hoping I'm going to get a good answer. But be honest. Do you participate? What's your experience been? And then, you being a top agent, I'm sure you have ownership in some or all of those. Are the distributions, significant from that? I think more importantly, it's a service you get, but then also is it, is it rewarding from a financial standpoint?
Yes. Yes, so I am a participant in the title and in the insurance. And I have been for a number of years now. So yes, the returns are significant on that, which is nice to get those checks in the mail. Always appreciated. But I think almost more importantly is the service. So, it's very seamless. We do have all of our clients pretty much referred over to the insurance, and a number of them have used the insurance and found the rates to be great. I wish they would underwrite in Rhode Island, by the way, just while I have the floor, can I say that? I've asked a few times about that. And then, as far as the title goes, it's great. I use them a lot. They have a lot of information that you can get from them, whether it's addresses, whether it's flood certifications, whatever. And so, I call and it's like I've had flood certifications done on a property I'm looking at within an hour. Amazing. And then if there's a problem, it's one phone call and it's done. So, yes, I'm
All right.
very happy with
Got the
those.
answer I was looking for there. I got nervous for a second. Because I know you're a straight shooter, and if you weren't happy, I might have been on the other end of, well,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
might have.
happy. So thank
No,
God.
we're good.
So I think for any of you that are been around longer or are top agents, you already know the contacts at the title company, but many of you may not. So I don't know if Ryan or Justin, if you're on, if you could throw your contact info in there, or Elizabeth, if you can do it, because like Laura said, it's not just about helping you with, at the time that you're having a deal, there's other stuff that they can do, other information they can provide to actually help you generate business. There's also a great app that they offer. So, definitely if you're not taking advantage of the team, reach out to Justin, reach out to Ryan, reach out to the folks at our Home and Auto, and reach out to Margaret and her team regarding mortgage. All right, I'm sorry, I jumped in with my question there. Did you have any others
Yeah,
from the chat?
I'm gonna cut
Elizabeth?
you back off. A couple people asked, what questions are you asking in your listing appointments?
Okay. I did do a whole class on this, which I could do again, I guess, at some point. I mean, I don't know if you want me to bore you right now with this whole, but what I'm trying to get to is their motivation, their timing, their, what price they're looking for, where are they going? Can we help them on that side too? And before that, of course, I'm doing research on who sold them the house, when did they buy it, what did they buy it for? Know their Zestimate before you walk in the door, because even though we don't care about Zestimates, they do, and they all know their Zestimate. So that sort of information is really what there's a whole class, like I said, that I did on that.
So for Zestimates, if somebody says, well, this is what the Zestimate says, I want to list it for this, do you have like a standard answer to explain, why your number is much more credible than what they find in a Zestimate?
I mean, yeah, it's just basically the Zestimate is an automated tool based on averages, and they have not been in the house to see that you've updated your kitchen or you haven't or whatever. So, I mean, that people are tending to give you a lot less of a hard time about these estimates anyway, because the market's so good.
Got it.
But in past markets, that was important to defend.
Awesome. Elizabeth?
Some questions around your team. How is the team structured, and would you share your commission structure with your team?
So I will discuss how my team is structured. My commission agreements are, I'm not sharing anybody's compensation agreements. It's not appropriate. As far as the team structure goes, I have sales team and I have a, client and support team. So on the sales team, we have a couple of listing agents and we have 6, about to be 7 buyer specialists. And then on the support side, I have, we have a full-time admin, tech support, marketing manager, listing coordinator, and transaction coordinator.
Got it. Someone asked, what information are you putting in your monthly newsletter?
You have to ask my marketing manager.
Um,
I think we have like monthly updates on, you know, the market, some of our listings. I don't know.
And
okay.
for whoever was asking about the compensation, I know Laura can't share it, but I can imagine it's pretty good. It's part of the whole package. Because again, one of the things that strikes me about Laura's team is I've seen those same faces, high level people that have, you know, been with her team for years. And then we have some, you know, other teams that struggle. So whatever Laura's doing in terms of compensation and the overall package is definitely working because she's keeping some great people on the team for an extended period of time.
Someone just put in the chat, what is your daily routine?
I don't really have one. I get up, I play tennis, some days. I usually don't come in the office till like 11. You know, just dealing with whatever business issues, might have a listing appointment or two. That's kind of it. I'm not a prospector, where that is a big challenge of ours. We are a marketing-based team. We have never been a prospecting-based team. So if you're looking for, I get up at 6 and then I make calls between, you know, 8 and 10, like that's no. So, no, I might, you know, I usually call people.
You didn't
and
hear
ask
that, team
clients.
leaders, because you still need to make your calls at a set time every day. You know, you can't follow the Laura Gill model for
Yeah,
team
sorry.
leading. It's different when you're running a real team.
I know no broker or trainer likes to hear what my routine is, which is why I didn't want to answer this question. But that is that's the truth. And you know, I make my calls usually when I'm driving because that's when I have time uninterrupted. Is I do call, of course, you know, past clients and or friends or whatever, this and that I need to connect, people I need to connect with. So I usually do that while I'm running around. And you know, I try to be home and try and watch my kids' games and stuff like that in the evening. So I tend not to take evening or weekend appointments anymore if I can help it.
Sounds like a pretty good routine to me. I was being half facetious when I said that about the calls for the team leaders, but I think what you're saying is actually really good in that it just kind of shows that there's more than one way to, I guess you can't say skin a cat. I think that's not allowed anymore, but more than one way to achieve a goal. And that, you know, if you're someone who doesn't want that regimented, you know, I have to make 3 hours of calls every day and it's got to be a ton of outbound calls, you can become, you know, one of the most successful real estate teams, agents in the country without doing that. So I think the message, you know, if I'm getting it from Laura, is like, not to put words in your mouth, like find a few things again that you're good at. It doesn't have to be the same ones Laura talks about or the same ones I talk about. Find those things, but put your time and effort into it and do it, you know, consistently. So you don't have to, you know, come from the, you know, Gary Keller school of 3 hours of lead gen, you know, direct outbound calls every day to build $100 million team. You have somebody here that's proof of it, but it doesn't mean that Laura is not working just as hard at the other things she focuses on. She's certainly not doing it by, you know, throwing up some social media posts and hoping to get some incoming calls. You're lead generating, but you're just doing it in a marketing based way and through open houses and in other ways.
Yeah, we work hard to market to make the phone ring so that I'm not necessarily doing those calls. But I mean, with all that said, that is something we are trying to improve this year. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, after that disastrous $126 million year, you better wake
It's
up.
time to up the game. Yep.
I saw somebody said, which is a good question, what are your top 3 marketing items? Or I think they are specifically asking of items, but are there, you know, 3 marketing tips that you would give, you know, how you do your outbound marketing to make the phone ring?
Again, whatever you
Or should we have a Zoom with your marketing manager and just
we could. You know, I think really I have a background in corporate marketing, and so, you know, marketing is something that's near and dear to my heart. But again, I would say you pick something and whatever you pick, You need to do it every single month. So no matter what it costs, no matter how busy you are, et cetera, whether it's a newsletter, whether it's mailers, I've been sending out mailers for a million years. You know, and it's expensive and all of that, but you have to do it consistently. If you do it every like 3 months, it doesn't work. You've just wasted your money. So it has to be really routine. When I tell you I do the same thing every month, I do the same thing every month. Like
Got it.
all these things just happen. And it used to be me doing them and now it's not. Now it's morale or, you know, Mari's helping or whoever's helping make these things happen. But they're happening every single month right on time.
So I love the message about the consistency, but the flip side of that, is there a time when you do stop doing something if you're not getting the results? Like, is there like, if you're doing some kind of marketing campaign,
Yeah.
how long would you let it run before you kind of switch gears?
Yeah, I mean, so we've been looking at our marketing results each month and seeing what's working and what's not. And what is not for us is our social media marketing, the way that we're doing sort of Facebook ads. We're not getting the results we want on leads. So we need to either revisit that or stop doing it. But like figure out new messaging or targeting, you know, or stop doing it. And that's actually something that we're talking about this month.
What about like, you do traditional mailings too still, right?
Mhm.
Direct mail?
Yep.
If somebody was doing direct mail, does it always work? Or do you think there's a time when they say, okay, if you haven't gotten a lead after 6 months, maybe you got to do something different or stop doing it? Is there a time frame on that?
Well, you need at least 6 months before you're going to see any result, and you need to have the stomach and the checkbook to write those checks. I mean, you have to make sure that you can fit it into your budget. But I will say that I did this right from the beginning. Typically, mailers have a 1% response rate, which is pretty good. And if you need to be willing to write the checks for something. This is a very low overhead business. You can make a ton of money in this business, but you have to treat it like a business, not a job. So in a business, you are investing money to get a return and to, you know, whether you're building that brand or you're, you know, just getting direct leads or however you want to do it, you can buy, you know, lead generation type leads if you want to, if that's your thing, but do whatever it is consistently and invest in the business, or you can't expect the phone to ring.
So it sounds like you really do treat it like a business and you're focused on the bottom line, which a lot of agents are not. Like, did you always have that skill
Oh, yeah.
or interest in the numbers? Or because a lot of agents don't, you know, they're good at marketing, they're very personable, but they don't really look close enough at the bottom line. Like, were you always like that, or did you learn that after you became an agent?
Well, yes, because I came from corporate banking world. So yes, I have business degrees and stuff like that, but it's a business we're running. I mean, it's not a charity, right? We're not doing this for fun. We're not, you know, here just because we all love each other's company. We want to hang out in the office and chit chat. We're here because we're making money to support our families or whatever it is our goals are. So yes, it needs to be return on investment. You need to be looking at what you're spending, how much business is coming in, and, you know, make sure that they align. You know, one thing I'm terrible about, I mean, I am really bad at tracking the numbers, which is why I have Jen, who's amazing at, like, I just have to be like, Jen, what have we done so far? And she knows, I don't know. So I'm not good at like the individual tracking because I find that boring, but I do need to know, is everybody making money in this business? Are we making money? Are we not? You know,
No. I don't think enough agents pay attention to that. You know, we look at, did we make, you know, gold or platinum? What's our top line sales number, but not, you know, how much are we bringing home? It's funny. Ben Kinney always says, I forget the exact numbers, but it's something like, he says that, you know, one time I interviewed, you know, 20 agents in the $15 million range, and they all made roughly $200,000 before taxes. The interesting thing was I interviewed, you know, same number of people at the 30 million and $40 million group. Guess how much they all made? Roughly 200,000. They all made the same amount of money. It was like these agents, the more business they did, the more they spent, and their take home didn't go up anywhere close,
Mhm.
at that rate. It almost didn't go up at all. They just, if they were making another dollar, they spent another dollar on marketing or leads. And, in the end, it is about making money, not what you can brag about is your top line number of sales volume, but it's, what are you left with at the end of the day? So we're right at the end of time. What, for somebody who doesn't have that interest or that skill, any recommendations for a class to take or what to do to kind of,
I
keep,
mean, just whether
make their
you're
money
tracking
accountable?
it on a spreadsheet or QuickBooks or whatever, you just have to keep some sort of eye on your expenses. And I can certainly be guilty of letting it go. And then I just am looking at my year-end expenses and going, oh, wait, we're over budget too. But, some of these things I also sort of, at this point, don't mind investing in to get more time back for myself. But yeah, you just have to get a grip on, every month, how much are you bringing in and how much are you spending?
Yeah, makes
to,
sense. I mean, and my own answer to my own question would be, if you want to get better at that kind of stuff, just read the MREA. That will help you, how to hold your money accountable. So we're kind of at the end of time. So, and we said we want to keep it to an hour, but Laura, do you have time for like one or two last questions?
Yeah, I'm not in a rush.
Elizabeth, do you have any like one or two, and then we'll wrap it up?
Yeah, someone asked, do you have a MAPS coach or any other type of coach?
I do have a MAPS coach that I got this year. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Do you have the final say over everything that goes out, or is that someone on your team for your, marketing, newsletter, etc.?
I do.
For a newer individual agent with a fairly robust sphere, do you have any recommendations for them on how to structure their day?
Don't ask me that question.
Start with tennis at night. Go to all your kids' games. Have fun.
Yeah.
Kelly in the beginning had asked, who does your videos?
Morale, our marketing manager.
Al, I think I hit every question
We got them all
in the chat.
Awesome.
Oh, here we go. Billy Penna. What books do you read?
Wall Street Journal, New York Times, every day. That's what I read. I haven't read a lot of of course I read MREA and all of that, but I don't spend my time reading a lot of business books, to be honest.
All right. Someone earlier said, love the honesty, and I'll echo that. I think what's great about you is, you built this business, you're super successful, and you're not towing the company line. And, not, people would probably make up books, and just say, oh, I read this or that. But, the fact that you've gotten this level of success without having to do it, then you don't need to read the books. Maybe it's time you start writing the books. So I think, does anybody want to unmute with one last question? Otherwise, I think we're going to wrap it up and just say thank you to Laura. There's a ton of great feedback. I don't know if you can see it in the chat. Everybody's loving this. You really did a great job and gave a ton of value today, Laura.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks so much, Laura. It was really fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. Really appreciate it. And we'll be sending out this video to everybody. Everyone always asks that every week. So thanks everybody for taking time on a Friday afternoon. And thank you, Laura. This was awesome. You were awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Laura.
Thank you.
Bye.